Hi, Chris from Dynojet here. In this video I'm going to talk about how you might troubleshoot problems with your rod pressure style quick shift sensor. So here I am at the shift linkage on this 2012 Yamaha R1. I have the shift sensor as part of the tie rod. First thing I want to make sure is that the shift sensor, the tie rod, the entire shift linkage isn't going to get rubbed or isn't going to kink or bind anywhere with full travel all the way up to all the way down. We also want to make sure that the pivot arms on both ends of the tie rod are as parallel as possible. You don't want those too far towed in or too far towed out. It could take excessive pressure to trigger the kill. Now, a shift sensor switch is nothing more than a switch. So all we're looking for is a circuit opening and closing whenever we pressurize the shifter with an upshift motion. So I've disconnected the harness from the shift sensor here. I have two wires to test, a blue and a green wire. If you happen to find a red wire in your shift sensor harness, just ignore it. It's not a wire that we use. Here I got my multimeter out. I'm going to set it to ohms. That's the horseshoe shaped symbol. And I'll go ahead and set it to beep whenever the circuit closes. So right now I have an open circuit on my test probes. When I close the circuit, my ohm meter starts to show a resistance value and it starts to indicate a closed circuit by the ring. I'll just probe the shift sensor wires. Polarity is not important. And I'll put some pressure on the shift sensor as if I were in an upshift motion, and I should see the circuit close here. And I do. So with this switch, I go from an open circuit to a closed circuit when I pressurize the shift sensor. If the circuit closed or opened whenever I push down or I'm downshifting, then I know I have an inappropriate shift sensor. With this bike, I need a pull type shift sensor when I'm upshifting, so this is a pull type shift sensor. If I didn't close the circuit until I pushed down, then it would be a push type shift sensor, which would be inappropriate for this type of shift linkage. Also, because this is a normally open style switch, I might find some switches that are closed. The circuit is closed while the shifter is at rest. And whenever I upshift, the continuity breaks, the circuit opens. That's called a normally closed style shift sensor. So this is definitely a normally open style shift sensor, and I need to make sure in my Power Commander software that my switch style setting is set for normally open. Likewise, if this happened to be a normally closed shift sensor, I would need to make sure that my switch style is a normally closed style switch style. Now, the reason we have normally closed and normally open style shift sensors is with the quick shift expansion module. If you happen to have a quick shift expansion module that looks like this one and it has a blue LED on the faceplate, this type of quick shift expansion module will only work with a normally closed style shift sensor. Since this is a normally open, this shift sensor will not work with this quick shift expansion module. The type of quick shift expansion module like this, with this type of module, and has a green LED on the side, this one will only work with a normally open style shift sensor switch. The Power Commander can be toggled to use either one. So that's the basics of troubleshooting a quick shift sensor. As you can see, it's a simple switch, nothing special. If all of this stuff checks out just fine and you're still having problems quick shifting, then your problem likely is somewhere else.